Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Grady with the City of Lubbock Environmental Health Department. We got a couple of our inspectors here with us. Jeannie, I don't remember everybody's area, but we have Jeannie, Tanner, Jared, Becca, and Nathan. And I believe we have one more coming in, Joe. These are going to be your inspectors, all of us for the most part, coming out inspecting y'all's pools and things like that. I just wanted to throw a couple of slides together, kind of give some information on what we're going to be looking at, or things that we can help y'all with, things that will make it easier for whenever we're scheduling inspections. Pool rules. So there are new pool rules coming. They have been adopted by the state, but they haven't been adopted by the city. So as it stands right now for this year, most likely there will be no new pool rules. But come next year, there will be some changes being made. I said significant changes, but there's not really huge changes coming. It's things that we're already doing, but they're changing it up a little bit. The emergency phone would have to, it can be like a cell phone plugged into a charger that stays there at all times. So it's kind of stuff like that that's changing up. Cyanuric acid, so that's something that is stabilizer in most pools to protect the chlorine from UV. That is going to be, it's going to be regulated now. So anything over, I believe it's 100 would be something that we'd have to get corrected. Whereas in the past, there wasn't any kind of real regulation on it, but if you get too much cyanuric in there, then your chlorine's not going to be as effective. But for manager-wise, if y'all are taking care of any pools, that stuff's going to be important to you. If your maintenance or whoever is taking care of your pools, that's going to be another, and I'll get into it. I think it's the next one or two next slides, something that's going to get into like closures and if we have to close the pool, things like that. So inspections. Whenever y'all are ready, if you're in the front office, I would talk with your maintenance, make sure that they're ready for the inspection, and whenever they are, give us a call. And I put one of our front desk number right there. So you're more than welcome to give us a call, say, I'm at this facility, this address. They'll be able to look up in the system, figure out who is the inspector, and get you transferred over to them. Hopefully, either if they're not in the office, you can leave them a message, and they'll get back to you. In past years, we do have most of our facilities calling to be open by, Memorial Day. Mm-hmm. So if that is the case, if you're wanting to be open by Memorial Day, I'd call 2 weeks before. And we can come out and do an inspection, get you approved to open, and you don't have to open it. It's up to y'all when you actually open it, but you would be inspected, approved, ready to go come Memorial Day weekend. You can open it right up, don't have to wait on us.
Is now too early?
I would say yes, because technically your permit doesn't expire till the end of April.
Right.
And with that being said, if you wanted to open this year, your permit, I guess, technically would still work, but we would still have to come out and do an inspection to get you opened for this year. But then come April 31st, we're going to be coming right back out for another inspection. So if you're are you a heated pool by chance? I would say just wait.
Okay.
It's easier on us, so that way we're not having to make a lot of trips. If you're wanting to get open, technically.
It's not necessarily for wanting to get open, just wanting to get in before everybody else does.
Of course. And you can go ahead and start calling. If your pool is good come middle of April, go ahead and call us and say, hey, we'll be ready for a pool inspection May 1st, May 2nd, something like that. By all means, go ahead and start trying to get on the schedule. But I wouldn't try to schedule anything before May 1st. That way it would just kind of gets a little clogged up in our system. And then you can also look on our website. That's mylubbock.us/EH. That is going to have a map. I wish I would have pulled it up, but that'll have a map, and it kind of shows the districts that all of our inspectors are in. You can figure out where your facility is on the map, and then that correlates to the inspector, and it'll have their contact information. Can you pull that up?
Yeah.
He'll get it pulled up so that y'all can take a look at it. So one thing that I had mentioned, closures. So if we come out to do an inspection, say the safety equipment, so that I put that in number 4. Say the safety equipment is either missing, damaged, it's just not working, like the SVRD or the vac alert is not working. Most likely it's going to be a pool. We're going to be closing that pool unless you can provide that ring buoy, that shepherd's hook. If you can get the emergency phone working, we're most likely going to close that pool for that time period, but there's no requirement on how long it has to be closed. We could close it in the morning, and then as long as the inspector has availability in that afternoon and you get it working or get it fixed, get it the ring buoy or everything and provide that, we can come right back out and get it approved and open. Chemicals and clarity, those kind of go hand in hand. If the pool is cloudy and we can't see the main drains at the bottom of it, or if you can't see the main drains at the bottom of it, I'm not going to be able to open that pool until we get that water cleared up. Chemicals, if the chlorine is too high, or if there's no chlorine, pretty good chance that we're going to need to close that pool until we can get those issues worked out. Chemicals also, the cyanuric acid that I was talking about, or called stabilizer. If that is too high, we're going to have to get the chlorine levels up to be able to kind of counteract that, because too much in there starts binding up all that chlorine. Chlorine's not going to be able to kill any kind of bacteria, viruses, stuff like that that's in the pool. Equipment mainly has to do with the pump. If the pump is not running, or it can't run, it's not operational, pool's closed, because that water needs to be circulating. If you have some gauges that are missing, this kind of mainly towards maintenance side of it, if the gauges are missing, that's not going to be a closure, but we're going to need to get those on there pretty quick. Those gauges are there to help you to determine when you need to backwash. Maybe if you have some issues running, or if you're running into any issues, that will help you. Safety equipment, as I mentioned earlier, that probably should have been higher up on the list, but if those aren't there, if those aren't missing, if those aren't working, it will be an immediate closure. With that being said, if your pool is ready to go, we get out there and the vac alert is not working, or there's one thing that's wrong, we'll still do the whole inspection, so that way the next time we come out, say later that day or the next day, that's all we'll look at. We'll make sure that that is operational, and you'll be good to go. And as I said, these are common. I'd say, I don't know, probably 50%, maybe a little less than that, of pools that we go to. At some point, we have to close them for chemicals. Chemicals are really kind of a tough thing to work with sometimes. You can get the water perfect, call us, we come out later that day or the next day, they might not be what you tested them at, and so you might have to close it, or that's kind of as you're doing the inspection type thing. Then also coming up on April 20th, we have our pool school, which everyone should be getting a invoice for their pools. Actually, I think coming in the next couple of days, if you haven't already, because I know that we've printed those out. And in that packet will be, or in that letter will be a pool school registration form. So that way, at our pool school, we're going to have someone that has worked on the new pool rules. He's going to come down, talk with us, kind of give you an even more in-depth information on what the new pool rules will consist of. We're going to have people from the health department coming to talk to us about waterborne illnesses. Then we're gonna have one of our inspectors giving a presentation. If you were there last year, it's gonna be similar to it, just kind of going through our different kinds of pools that we look at, how our inspections go, different kinds of chemicals that you can use in a pool, or different kinds of chemicals that we see being used in pools. And then we'll also go to an on-site pool. We'll be able to look at it. If you have any questions whenever we get out there, say you forget something today, we'll be at an on-site pool. We'll be able to look at, we'll do some water tests while we're there, kind of let y'all see what we're working with. I would recommend it to any and everyone. As the more that come out there, the better it is for us, because it's more information that we're getting out to all of y'all. It makes it easier on us and makes it easier on y'all when it comes time for inspections. And really, that's about all that I've got for today. Do you have that pulled up?
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all can come look at it as you need to.
You want to swap out your computer, we can slap it up there.
That's a good idea. So this is what it'll look like. This is a just view of the city, and it's split into the different inspector areas. Over here on the side, we have all of our, so the red area is Becca right here. So if your facility, your pool is within this red area, you'd be looking at wanting to contact Becca and setting up a inspection with her, and so on and so forth. White, you'd be looking at Joe. He's going to be your man for inspecting over there. There's a very good chance that if you happen to run multiple apartments or something like that, and you have one in two different areas, chances are you're going to be dealing with two different inspectors. So if that is the case, I would make sure to get in touch with them as quick as you can, and probably try to schedule both of them. You might can get one inspector to go to both pools. It kind of depends on the timing of that.
If you're in the green area, you'll notice it says vacant right now. Just call our main number and we'll get you taken care of. An inspector will probably call you back.
Yes. And kind of the same for the gray area. That inspector is really, for the most part, tied to the office. So if your facility or your pool is over in this gray area on east of the interstate, probably going to get a different inspector than Chuck. But like I said, we're all for pool season. We love it, and we'll get y'all taken care of as quick as we can. Alrighty. Do y'all have any questions? Anything? We're fair game. If I can't answer it, one of these other guys can.
We got the paperwork for the pool school, and it says the 18th and 19th. What's the actual date?
18th and 19th.
You probably got the CPO.
Yes.
The CPO certification for the pool schools.
Okay.
And are they doing that CPO here?
So what's the certification other than CPO?
Say that again.
What were you mentioning?
There's pool
They're
school and
asking
there's
what's the
CPO.
difference between the two.
Pool school is just a thing that we put on. There's not so much a certification behind it. It's more of just kind of an educational thing so that we can get all of our maintenance guys from across the city come out. Chances are you haven't really been working with pools a whole lot leading up to April or May. We like to do this every year so that way kind of fresh in everybody's head come time for pool inspections. That way you get out there, you're like, okay, I think everything's good. Then you see something, oh, we went over this in our pool school. We need to take a look at it and get that fixed before they come out and do an inspection. CPO, that's a good thing to touch on. That is the certified pool operator license. That one, with the new pool rules, they are going to require one CPO per pool that you have. So it can technically be one person over multiple pools, but that person has to be available, say, whenever we come out for an inspection. If they're not there, we have to be able to contact them and get them there if we need it. Same goes for if you have multiple facilities, that one CPO will cover all of those pools, not just on the same, in the same location, but across town. You can have one CPO for all of those, but they have to be available. So if something was to go wrong, we have to be able to call them and then they be available to show up on site. So the more you have, the better it is, because that's a lot of information to a lot of knowledge to have to take in. So the more CPOs you have, and it's I believe it's 1.5 days in person, and they cover all sorts of things from chemicals to backwashing to pumps, filters, you name it, they go over it.
Just if I can interject here, so we're having that CPO class here on the 18th and the 19th. The 18th, if you've got guys that are already certified and just need a refresher, they can just come for that day. The 19th is actually when you take the test for that whole day class that we have there.
So if I got certified like 5 years ago,
It lasts 5 years.
yes, I need to.
You should- so
Yeah, if it's been over 5 years, you'll need to get recertified in it.
If I got certified like 2 years ago, but I want to take the whole class, I can do that, right?
Yes, you just have to take that refresher class.
Okay.
And so you can go to our member site, laamembers.com, to register for each one of those classes. And the cost for the whole class is $400, and it's $45 for the book. If you're just taking the refresher class, it's $150.
What's the website name again?
laamembers.com.
LAA?
On the new pool rules that are coming out, I know that, like, I feel like we've been talking about them forever. I mean, are they leaning more towards grandfathering the older pools, or?
From what I was able to read, not exactly. So if you have an older pool that is like a single main drain, from my understanding, gonna have to get that fixed and to where it's a dual main drain. And so it could be, like I said,
Yeah.
the city has not adopted any of that yet.
Right.
But it's in the works. It's not something that would be done, we wouldn't be enforcing any of that this year. You'll have, almost a whole year, maybe more, to get that, fixed.
Right.
There's gonna be a grace period.
Yes.
Whenever the
That's
new,
what my next question was gonna be,
Yeah.
because, I mean, like, seriously, I mean, you sat here and you tell me this, and that's what I just told him, I was like, well, I just got myself a volleyball court, I feel like it, so, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just,
It's
it's a big old can of worms is what it is.
I don't know the reasoning behind why they are wanting to switch to that so much as dual main drains are safer, and a single main drain, all that suction's coming through right there, and if your back alert fails, someone could get stuck to it.
Right.
Dual main drains, it's much harder for someone to get stuck to one or the other. So it's something that's coming, so I would just be aware
If
of
you had
it.
to give an opinion, and I'm obviously not gonna hold you to this, when do you think this is gonna happen?
When do I think that they're gonna?
That the city will adopt it
And it'll enforce.
Yeah.
If I was to go off what my supervisor has talked about, it'll probably be September. And then, for the most part, everyone's pools are closed, if they're outdoor pools, getting closed or closed by that point. And then you would have that whole off season through really about April 31st.
Right, yeah.
To work on it. I know that there's talks for automated systems, so automated chlorine systems, automated feeders, stuff like that. That one's going to be a tough one as well.
Requiring it?
Mhm.
So that it would what's it? ORP, is that what it's? It's something that would be, it kind of tests the water in
Yeah.
there, and then it automatically feeds
Yeah,
acid
I'm
or chlorine.
familiar with it, it's just crazy.
Mhm.
I mean, because I know that you're sitting here telling us that we'll have like a year to do it, and I mean, that, in theory, that sounds great, but like you're telling me next September is when it's gonna go into effect, and you're gonna have probably all of us in here calling plumbers and pool people all at one time to get
Yeah.
that done, so, or budget, for
Yeah,
that matter, so.
I
So that's why I was wondering, because that's why I'm here.
Yeah,
well,
Honestly,
and
just
that,
wanted to see what you guys said, because I know that we've been talking about this for several years.
so the reason we've been talking about it for so long is because right now we're at the mercy of the city legal
Right.
department.
Yeah, no,
And-
100%. I know I sound kind of snooty about it.
Oh,
and-
you're
and
good.
I'm not meaning it, other than it's just.
And the whole idea behind the grace period is that we're not having every pool in the city call the plumber at the same time.
Right.
You know, the rules, if they do go into effect this September, we will let everyone know. We're not going to show up and close your pools. That way you have time to get on the schedule for a
Right.
plumber or something, or a contractor.
And what most likely will happen, I believe that we did it the last time. I say we, I wasn't here whenever the new pool rules were done. But they had they had a meeting that we set up and tried to get as many people in as we could to, hey, there's new pool rules coming. This is what it's gonna, because if you started reading through all this and really, there's vocabulary in it that I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know exactly what they're trying to say. But we would have someone from the state and someone that is knowledgeable, or probably even the person that wrote part of it or most of it. We would try to get them to come down and try to get as many of y'all as we
Right.
can to talk through it and let you know, it says this, but what it means is
Right.
this. And so.
I mean, I just remember when back alerts
Mhm.
became a requirement, those things were like virtually impossible to get, and if you
Mhm.
did get one, you were paying way more than what you should have been for
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And
That
so,
is-
I think I have PTSD from it, to be quite honest with you, so.
I have PTSD from going in and trying to test them, and
Right.
it was like, this thing's not working.
Yep.
It was like, well, it worked this morning. I was like,
Exactly.
I don't know.
Have you done
So,
ours before? I don't think so, but.
Mhm.
Guilty.
so this is, I should say, City of Lubbock home rule, so we can take the pool rules and adopt what I don't want to say what we want out of them,
Right.
but home rule, so I guess technically we would never have to adopt them, but we're going to.
Right.
And you're more than welcome to read through it. It's a brisk, maybe 25 pages? I'm not really sure, but maybe more.
I mean, this does still have to get voted in, so if you read through and you don't want it, there will be a council hearing on it. Just for funsies,
If you have nothing going on a Tuesday, you're more than welcome to go by there. Let's see. Any other questions? Anybody got some concerns about? Things didn't go good last year for you. What can we do better?
I got a couple things. Couple things I touched on yesterday with the maintenance guys yesterday. Find out if your pool is on well water. If your pool is filled with well water, it must be tested by the water department. A lot of pools got closed last year because they did not have their water tested. The second thing is, before we come out, test what you can on your pool, and that includes the emergency phone. Don't be scared of your emergency phone. You are absolutely able to test it yourself. If you do test it, whenever that emergency operator picks up, just make sure the first words out of your mouth are, "This is a non-emergency call. My name is so-and-so with so-and-so, and I'm just testing my emergency phone." Ask them if they can give you the address. If they can give you the address, if they cannot give you the address, then you must have a sign that says the address located next to the phone. If they can, you don't need it, but we still recommend it. So just test what you can before we come out there. It really saves a lot of headache, and you know, we want to get y'all's pools open. We really do. So leaving a pool when it's closed is no fun for anyone. That's all. Thank you.
And like I was saying earlier, if you get out there and you have an inspection scheduled for that day, for some reason your emergency phone's not working, you can let us know and we'll still probably come out and do the inspection, and we'll put it on the report, you know, emergency phone's not working, pool's closed. But the next time we come out, it'll save a lot of time. You just come out, take a look at the emergency phone. Unless something has just drastically changed with just looking at the water, most likely 9 times out of 10, the pool's gonna be opened. So don't be afraid if that's the case, just keep going with it, keep going with the inspection, and it'll be good to go. All right.